There's a lesson I've been sitting with for a while lately. Sometimes people aren't responding to who you are, they are responding to who they believe you are. Or worse, they're responding to someone entirely different. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the exact same interaction and walk away with completely different stories? One person leaves feeling understood, the other person leaves convinced they were betrayed. That realization had made me think differently about relationships. There was a season in my life when I found myself constantly defending my character. I kept reassuring someone that I wasn't the person they believed I was. I wasn't the friend that had been hurt by before. I wasn't creating problems that weren't there. Yet, no matter how many conversations we had, it felt like I was always trying to prove something that had never been true. Eventually, I became emotionally exhausted, not because conflict is uncomfortable, but because it's impossible to build trust with someone who has already decided what your intentions are. Years later, unexpectedly, we crossed each other's paths again. I hoped time had created space for healing. Instead, I found myself standing in the same place. New circumstances, different people, the same pattern. Assumptions placed conversations. Conclusions came before curiosity. Even after honest conversations, the story that had already been created remained stronger than the truth that was being offered. That was when I realized something. Sometimes the issue isn't the situation. Sometimes the issue is the lens through which the situation is being viewed. When someone has been deeply wounded, it's understandable that they become protective. Our experiences shape us, they teach us what to watch for and what to fear. But healing asks something difficult of us. It asks us to stop making new people pay for what previous people did. It asks us to become curious about becoming certain and to ask before assuming, to clarify before accusing, to allow people the opportunity to be themselves instead of assigning them a role from our past. I've also realized that emotional safety isn't built because two people never disagree. It's built because both people are committed to protecting the relationship while they work through the disagreement. That means talking to each other instead of about each other, giving each other the benefit of doubt, choosing understanding before creating a story. The older I get, the more I value relationships where I don't have to constantly defend my heart, where my words are taken at face value, where misunderstandings become conversations instead of evidence, where trust is the starting point, not something I'm endlessly trying to earn. One of the hardest truths I've had to accept is this: not everyone will have access to the real you. Some people will only know the version of you that exists through the filter of their fears. Others will know you through comparison, others through insecurity, others through old memories that have nothing to do with you. You cannot force someone to see you clearly. You can only continue to live clearly. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to stop arguing with a story you didn't write. Not because you're giving up on the other person, but because you finally chosen peace over proving yourself. Maybe that's what maturity looks like. Not convincing everyone that your heart is good, but trusting that the people who are meant to walk beside you will take the time to actually know it. Here's a reflection question. Have you ever found yourself defending who you are to someone who had already decided who you were? And if so, what would you change if you stopped trying to convince them and started protecting your peace instead?